So let's take a look at some of Patrick Gallagher's photos. Let's get a sense of who this Patrick Gallagher is. So this is from his Facebook page, right? So he likes hippie culture or motorcycles or something. Here he's doing some woodwork. It looks like he's got a different truck there. And there's the big old terrorist, right? There's the big 8 felonies. He committed 8 felonies in just by firing a shotgun once or twice. 8 felonies? Okay, let's look at some more pictures. Okay, that's just I mean, anybody could just take a picture when they did something, one time. Well, here's some more woodwork. To be honest, I don't really know what the hell he's doing, but a bunch of pieces of wood leaned up against a truck. Looks like it's some kind of production. But then we're going to see how it all turns into a bench. So perhaps this was just his, look what I'm doing, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So look at that. A nice quality wood craftsman. Who wouldn't want a Patrick Gallagher in the neighborhood? Well, hey, what are you doing today, Patrick Gallagher? Oh, I'm just making some wood products for my clients because I built a business. I worked hard. Won people over with my good quality work and word of mouth. So I have more fancy wood products, This here's looks like a wooden stained wooden bench. Looks all right, don't it? Looks like you could sit on it. It looks sittable. Then, more pictures of the bench. I guess it's a table. A work table or something in the shop. Here's some more woodworking or sawing or something. Something's going on here. You know what's not going on? He's not going around vandalizing the church. You know what he's not doing? He's not going around trying doors. You know how vulnerable the cars are on the streets of any, city? If people just go around trying doors, see if anybody So if you get home, you carry half your groceries in, you get some piece of shit trying your door, they get your other half of your groceries and possibly your vehicle. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. Look at that stain work. Look at that artistic expression. I saw that vandalism bullshit. That wasn't pretty at all. Sometimes you'll have, people who are tagging and they're making it look better. They're adding, they got good art skills. So really the point of this is I just wanted to read Dusty Scheffler. This is a character witness. You had one neighbor that said, we all like Patrick Gallagher around here. And now you have Dusty Scheffler. So this is 2 character witnesses. Thanks to Patrick Gallagher on a comment on YouTube video for allowing me to utilize his shop to create my first wood project of Colorado. I'll stand by Patrick for his rights and for his sacrifice for his community. As I committed a long time ago to protect my community, I would have done the same as he did. Me too. Being a part of a street gang myself, these new criminals have no respect as they are protected by the law for absolutely no reason except for power and control. Thank you for sharing. So, Patrick Gallagher allowed Dusty Scheffler to use his shop to create his first, her first wood project in Colorado. So that's the culture that Patrick Gallagher, he's not only making things for his client, building up his business, but he's also teaching other people how to make things. That's what I'd rather have. I'd rather have that in Conejos County. I'd rather have good, productive, lawful people. People that are working for a living, that are, using their brains and brawn to figure out how they can be of some use to society. This Patrick Gallagher case is just so goddamn backwards and upside down. There's a couple, let's see. Apparently Patrick had pleaded the fifth when the police showed up. He's the one that called 911. And all the media knows is the criminal's perspective because the cops talked to the criminals and then wrote down what the criminals had said. Apparently he's got some good lawyers, so hopefully all 8 major felonies will be dropped as soon as possible. This happened in Longmont. What county is that? What judge is he in front of? What prosecutor? What judge and prosecutor would push for somebody who is just defending their home, person, and property? What kind of piece of shit judge and prosecutor would rubber stamp some fascist Nazi cop's fucking misdiagnosis of the situation? You thought that he was the criminal and but you're wrong. You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. The preliminary hearing would absolutely solve that. Ask a couple questions. Oh, you're going around trying doors, You're going vandalizing, Trespassing, vandalizing, doing drive-bys. He said he was on 911. The report said while he was on 911, he was being shot at. And they're still investigating that. Oh, we're still investigating that. He said it, You got an eyewitness, motherfucker. So Patrick's a good man. He's got 1 character witness, 2 character witnesses. And frankly, they got these crime of violence enhancement charges over his head. 8 major felonies, 8 times 10, that's 80 years. But I feel like that every moment that these crime of violence enhancement charges, these 8 major felonies are over Patrick Gallagher's head, it's just another moment of continuing injustice. Cops forget. Did the cops forget to tell the criminals about the crime of violence enhancers? Did they mention them? They pulled them over. They stopped them. They caught the fucking motherfuckers. Did they mention, hey, you know how you do you're going around doing all those crimes of violence? You could go to jail for 10 years. All those, the assault and the vandalism and the drive-by shooting, all those charges, all those crimes of violence can be doubled. The sentence can be doubled. And I'm still wondering what the fuck happened. What the fuck happened? The media reported, the cops are there, and still we don't know the damn truth. How come all these murders, all of them are so skimpy on the details? What the fuck happened? Doesn't the media report the truth anymore? Like, seriously, what the fuck happened? In Colorado, we got Article 2, Section 13. We got a right to bear arms. We have a right to rifles, pistols, and shotguns in defense of home, person, and property. That's Article 2, Section 13 from Colorado's Bill of Rights. In Colorado, we all got extreme castle law. We got posse comitatus rights. If we're working with the civil authority, a make my day law. We got an extreme stand your ground and stand other grounds law too. You have a right to defend your person and a right to defend other people's person. There is no duty to retreat, though there is, the Vigil decision. He walked out on the street and the guy gave him problems, and so therefore, in Colorado, we got open carry, we got citizens arrest, we also got a right to revolution. The government authorities also cannot keep a database on who all owns guns in Colorado either. So, Patrick's a good man. When it comes to the right to bear arms in defense of person, property, and home, there's no doubt you have 100% right to defend your home, 100% right to defend your person. When it comes to property, there's a few exceptions. There's a few exceptions in the statutes. They say that the person can rob you. They just, if they're not attacking your person, if you're not being threatened. But you got 4 motherfuckers. They caught 4 motherfuckers. I don't know if they're all together. But you had some criminal motherfucker, right? Let's assume there are 2. So you got 2 motherfuckers that's fucking with your vehicle. Now he could go out and do a citizen's arrest. That would be difficult to do. He could have just shot a lethal shot, which he didn't do. The shotgun blast was a bird shot. He's had bird shot, wounds on his face, on his upper body. Patrick Gallagher is the one that called 911. He's the victim. You're supposed to assume he's the victim. He's the one calling 911. Why in the fuck is the 911 operators and the cops coming after the victim like this? This is fucking insane. But what I was trying to say is that we have a right to pistols, rifles, and shotguns, at the very least, in defense of person, home, and property. It's Article 2, Section 13. So when I think about the right to property, to what extent can you, have a right to bear arms? To what extent can you shoot a person for property? I would say stealing your car, right? That's a big major item. Stealing like expensive stuff. Stealing your most prized possessions, your most expensive possessions. When I think about where the right to property comes from, there's the Old Testament. The Old Testament, we have, thou shalt not steal and don't covet thy neighbor's goods. So that's, 1400 BC? The right to property, according to the Bible, we have a right to property, and that law has been, that's good law for 3,400 years. Now, this is natural law. Natural law includes the right to self-defense, the right to revolution, the right to oxygen, food, and water, the right to speak, the right to peacefully assemble. And throughout history, we see the right to life, liberty, and property over and over and over again. The Declaration of Independence said life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, but John Locke said life, liberty, and property, which is where the phrase came from. So where does the right to property, the right to property, when we look at historical documents, we see that the Bible, the 3,400-year-old Bronze Age Old Testament, says we have a right to property. The 1789 French Rights of Man says that property is a natural, imprescriptible right. It lists it right off at the top. It says our 4 eternal and constitutional, there are 4 main natural rights are liberty, security, resistance to oppression, and property. And property. It's like section 2 or 3. It's right at the top. The revolutionary 1801 Haitian Constitution declares that property is sacred and inviolable, and that anybody who denies the right to property is guilty of a crime against society. That's Article 13 from the 1801 Haitian Constitution. The right to property is also in the 1805 Haitian Constitution. Property is sacred. Its violation shall be severely prosecuted. I think it's Article 6. It said 6 point something. Colorado protects property in our Bill of Rights, Section 3, Sections 3, 25, and 27. In Section 3, we have 4 eternal and constitutional, natural, and essential and unalienable rights. That's life, liberty, property, safety, and happiness. Happiness is fleeting. I think the pursuit, you have to have space for happiness. But the government is responsible for protecting our right to life, liberty, property, safety. Absolutely. That's Section 3 of Colorado's Constitution. Article 2, Section 3 of our Bill of Rights. Colorado's Constitution also protects aliens, unnaturalized foreigners. They can acquire, inherit, enjoy depose of property, real and personal, just as native-born citizens. Section 27 in our Bill of Rights. Let's see here. The Colorado Constitution doesn't allow a private person to take other private property, but sometimes private property can be taken for public use if it's paid for. Section 14 and 15. There's also, under the Victims' Rights Act of Colorado, Section 16A of the Bill of Rights, the property that the prosecution uses for their case has to be returned to the rightful owner. CRS 24.4.1302.5K. Also, the rights of Colorado's foster children includes the right to a safe place for personal belongings. CRS 19.7.1011Q. The U.S. Constitution protects the right to property with the 5th Amendment and the 14th Amendment. The United Nations Declaration of Human Rights protects property with Article 17. You have a right to property, says the United Nations, says the U.S. Constitution, says the Colorado Constitution, says the Bible. You have a right to property. You have a right to property, says the Haitian Constitutions of 1801 and 1805, says the French Rights of Man. This is Thomas Jefferson telling us he forgot to add property to the U.S. Declaration. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods. Covet, that's, the point is, don't take their fucking shit. Don't just stare over there and just be like, man, I want all their stuff. God, I just want to just sit all day just staring at other people. No. So, do we have a right to bear arms in defense of property? Definitely, we have a right to bear arms in defense of home. Definitely, we have a right to defend our person and other people. Property is 9/10 of the law, so to what extent do we have a right to bear arms in defense of property? We have a maximum right at the very least. Do we have an absolute right? No. But what about an extreme right? We have an extreme right to defend our home. We have an extreme right to defend our person. The Constitution of Colorado is very clear. We have a right to bear arms in defense of person, home, and property. And the right to property is, not just natural right, but it's these historical documents have been pointing out the right to property for quite some time. 3,400 years, the Bible. The Bible hardly gets anything right. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Yeah, Moses was correct on that. That's good law. That is good eternal law. So, release the charges, drop the charges, whoever the damn DA and hopefully we get some damn justice. Hopefully we get some justice. Hopefully they actually arrest the criminal motherfuckers and then them criminal motherfuckers have to go through the criminal goddamn justice system. Let's see, Incredible. Incredible. Why are the Longmont police in lockstep with the criminal gangs in their city? Or Adams County, apparently. Anyways.